recommendations. When you are to go have a conversation with the landlord, you know, we talk about financial intelligence, meaning you're selling, like you're selling to an investor, you're selling yourself to someone who's investing you know, like an urban story, and that's that you're looking for, and the terms that are necessary for your trajectory of growth. You know, we echo landlords, when you tell the right story, that's what they live for. They want someone who is going to grow within their portfolio, and they are more than willing to help you if you tell the right story. So, what we're going to do now is bring in some folks that are in the early stage co-working. So I'd like Robert, the traditional, when you show up, you know, an area and or desk, and we pay some freight. And then we have Robert here who is going to bring some ideas to hopefully somebody here that are contemplating the remote co-working. And what he has, can you sort of describe your offering to the early stage startup that TechSpace provides?
We provide flexible office space for that it could be anything from a desk to up to about 50, 60 employees too.
You know, so just cost
408 could be
the crossover point. You know, if you get to scale and you have also how much capital do you need to buy a phone system, to buy furniture, and all those other things that are necessary. You could describe a little bit about Mevo.
Mike, that's fine. I mean, well, first off, I want to say over the period of the last 10 years, contribution to our organization and hard science. And what we do is we provide for those companies. And to be honest with you, the space is just one of the benefits of coming with us. What we do is we also provide mentors, introductions to financing, and most important is you'll be with your peers, 10, 12 other companies, just like yourself, who are going through the process. And every company that graduates from our organization always say the most valuable part great, but it's the interaction with their peers, the same thing that they're going through, and help see that possibility, as well as something that's patentable, and you have at least 6 months running. That means if you have to be able to pay yourself or not pay yourself, but you have enough money to last 6 months.
So there's a little bit.
Yes, what we do is we usually have a cohort where we have 2 a year, and we usually get about 80 to 90 applications. We go through the process. We have mentors and a committee of about 20. They're all in their field of expertise, so we actually pick mentors that know your business area that you're going through. It's very difficult and tough to get in. But an exit with 35 employees are
I got pictures of dead presidents, and I can show up in whatever I want. You have to tell a story, and a story then can have to turn it over and tell your story a little bit.
We started we didn't have a road plan. A lot of times you get on where you go, how you adjust, and it's lease. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. With the ability to sort of. And as we began to raise this, I have to sort of look at that and say, is this justifying itself? Because people were coming and going. There would be 3 or 4 people of the 12, 13 people that we had in the office. So we as the board actually made a decision that let's get rid of that space. And so we have the flexibility to go upward, to go down, relative to the needs of the business, but because we have a lot of engineers that like to work in sort of dark back rooms of their house and that requirements, but we've actually found it's sort of a bit more liberating where that we just made as a company as we go forward.
Okay. Now, talking about the flexibility aspect for the tech space, I mean, they come in, they sign up for acceptance, and then they get a Series A, and now they're trying to. How do you deal with that?
I mean, that's the beauty of a co-working space. We live in our space, and sometimes within a day.
You grow, and you guys have had some pretty good success.
Yeah, we're pretty full at both locations. We go Costa Mesa, San Francisco.
Our objective is to help that company get enough, maybe a Series B, but usually Series A, because they can live out loud. Go out and buy, get rent. Go out and do things. Maybe go to we're tech space. I think one of our companies actually, like I said, we learned in 35, which caused us a problem because now they were both graduated in a very short. But typically we end up having 10 companies. So we will work with that in the future. But again, we're not going to kick somebody out. Stick with them, we'll help them, we'll do everything we can to make sure they're successful. Because we want to help the economy.
Today. Okay, so I'm going to open up the question.
Through one, but how do you work the contracts? I want to go up and I've got a lease. What do you actually do? We all 30. How do you work?
Were you asking me?
Yeah. Yes.
Ours are 60 days.
Okay, 60 days.
Oh,
They work with you, like, well, if we have someone that's waiting for a bigger space to backfill, then yeah, we can do the switcheroo and then they'll let you in right away.
All right, and if you don't have, if you stay within the confines of options that you have, right? Just in there.
Yeah, I mean, if we.
Different kind of. Okay, that's right.
Bigger than the traditional.
Yes,
commercial
okay,
space, for
perfect.
sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the best.
Yes.
I got it.
have any questions?
Or how do you guys feel about
About what now?
the cannabis industry?
Oh, good, yeah.
Really like it. Yeah. Do you have any?
I'm a grower or an extractor. Although I am a subject expert, but what? I'm actually a scientist. I'm actually a scientist. There, as far as real estate, but as far as regulation, and so it's not technically a startup because I'm licensing the patented technology already. Process. Not necessarily. It's full utility package.
Situation, because you're licensing patent, it's not your patent.
That's
What we look for is companies that have their own patents, developing it and curating some of the technology. Well, this company, I believe, in San Diego, that's because it's on the science side,
That's right.
and they're trying to do something with medical. You have also cannabis in your own facilities?
Actually, I'm not sure.
All right, what we're going to do now is
Recording?
there are a plethora of options, quasi-commercial, about what we do as a company. But I've got Brad from our New York office who's going to talk, and we have the tech space, and we have Regis, and how do you sort through all that? And this we've created. Pat will talk about.
Order. be here in Orange County. I think you can tell I've been with the company for a while because that's a pretty old picture. I left New York. It was 33 and raining. I came from the brokerage side of the business, and I currently oversee our strategy, and we're undergoing, as a lot of companies are, a pretty big. So technically the Chief Information Officer, and very excited to be in the nicest ship in the fleet, as I described in this office. Beautiful, amazing space. It is a very expensive market. We like it as a stage for talent. You know, talent stage, that talent can change the world. And it's a pretty special thing when that happens. We're going to talk, I think, a little bit about co-working, which has exploded within our interesting trend to us. I think WeWork's most recent valuation was somewhere north of 60 billion. Is that fair? So WeWork has led the that are interesting to me about co-working. The talent would go to Goldman Sachs. The whole now and over the last 10 years. So that's been the trend. I mean, startups 10 years have been where the talent wants to go. So corporates have to compete for. How can we learn from co-working? Within these co-working environments that companies like WeWork are gathering. If you think about consumer businesses, they probably spend gathering data about their customers, and yet walk through the door and out the door every day and don't capture any data about their customers. So about the experience, which is what WeWork is obviously a key attribute of the premium, that flexibility, but it's also about the data and kind of how these customers are interacting with the space. So it's fascinating what's happening with real estate, consumerization of real estate, understanding how different people space at different points in time and what really gets activity out of that workforce. So that's the big trend that's happening in our. So globally, we've recognized that customer base, and we launched Work There, which is essentially our direct-to-customer but brokerage-enhanced technology platform that gives you a look at all of the co-working space globally, not just WeWork, but markets, and gives you the ability to see the price associated with the various different options in a marketplace or in a sub-market, and also have a brokerage team that specializes in advocating for tenants to help you through that process. So we just launched Work Q1 this year in New York. We're going to be expanding across the U.S. We're very that the space as a service, the flexibility is embedded in the service contract. WeWork just launched Q4 last year, pretty significant investment part of your platform. So they're actually working with companies that are more traditional, IBMs and KPMGs to think about, how they can provide the same type of flexibility for bigger corporates and kind of give customers as far as how their employees are actually interacting with the space and enjoying the space or getting productivity out of the space. Same conversation topic, one that we're passionate about as a company, and that we would invite you to explore Work There through our to potentially work with many or all of you in that space.
Companies that we have engaged by to use around the world. So.
Yeah, happy. about the overall sector in the industry. That makes sense.
Anybody have any questions? Then we'll move to the next transition.
We thought it'd be neat to bring that we work with kind of various stages in their kind of all tech to a certain degree, but kind of different versions. So Michael is they're a med device firm. Michael, maybe you can tell us a little bit about.
The company is Modulated Imaging, medical device business. We kind of got our start originally out of UC Irvine. Was a grad student. So, we spun out of that, spent a fair amount of time over the last 7, 8 years working on the science and developing that, mostly through government grants, R&D grants. So we're very fortunate to be able to do that on a non-dilutive basis. And then 2017, we did our series. And just recently now we closed our Series B. And so we've been going through the developing the go-to-market technology, and now we're getting ready to start launching the device and hopefully getting some revenue on the door.
For you guys, they've been very prudent in their real estate spend through, again, government grants and such, and then their Series A. Right, they're having to add people and add lab spaces where they can do R&D and do some actual product development in their space. We've now doubled from a little over 5 or 10,000 square feet just in the last month, really.
Yeah, we were at a spot with our previous space where, the space wasn't configured really optimally, so we had a lot more warehouse than we needed and so forth. At a point where, the landlord at that spot, we're at the end of our lease, the landlord there was wanting to sell the didn't work for us. We'd have to, if we're going to stay there, put a lot of money into TIs. So that's when we started the process. Into our new space.
And then Jeff, thank you, Michael. Jeff as well. And Jeff was employee 7 at Silence. He was the CFO that Silence brought in to really take that enterprise to the next level, and went from 7 employees to 1,000 square foot space with the airline company, which again for a startup, at the apple, the first foray out there. I remember when you went 6 people. You must know something I don't. And the difference for him at Silence is when you're going through companies, you have to be able to make decisions. You have that you can see become parallel. All the different extenuating circumstances that are going on in their business. But Jeff kind of had the uncanny ability to react, make decisions. And, I think the deal closed today on Silent. $1 billion to BlackBerry. And it's not even 7 years. So pretty successful story that maybe you can touch on some of the stuff. We went through that process. What were some of you think the key elements that enabled you to be successful and manage, again, the burn on cash that you did subsequent capital raises, but then how you built kind of the headcount and facilities around.
this is when we were kicking off and we started off in labor. In space in 2012, and that's when Irvine Company just unrolled Discovery Corridor and started looking over that space there. And so it was a very easy time to find you. You come off the Series A and you have 3 to 5 years of visibility. I never have 3 to 5 years of visibility. So when we moved into 46 Discovery, we had our Series A, and we were gradually moving towards our Series B. Nobody on the team, nobody on the executive team, and there was constant communication with that team on where we were going, where we were, what our strategy was, how we were going to grow. Just about 800 people. And so you want to talk about flexibility and need to transition to those different spaces. It was a challenge. Fortunate having that collaboration with Jeff and Taylor to where we were able to work through that. It meant multiple moves, not only within the Orange County market, but within Washington, D.C., looking at spaces there. We found ourselves in a spot with the economics of the lease. We always found ourselves engaging in a lease where we had the ability to exit that either through a sublease or with a partner, i.e. the Irvine Company, where they helped us transition. Yeah. And we're finding that now as we, again, we're going to kick that off. And actually our founder Glenn and Matt, who came out of the founding team in Silence, and then another who was on the founding team with Bitcoin, Sam and Carter Black. We started off at 520 down below, then 610. Now we're at 888 San Clemente. Now we're going to be moving into.
Part of what we've done at every stage, security, which is a spin-off from side. I call key people, but each time we always put together a strategy where we control the space. Sitting as well, where we can't touch or feel it today. We've basically secured all the space around them in the building they're moving into with basically rights. So anytime space comes up, it has to come to Jeff's desk before they can lease it to anybody else. And that's something you just negotiate into deals with your Irvine Company or other.
Flexibility is absolutely key. In 888 San Clemente, just back in June, I thought I'd have 6 cores, and we signed, that was a file company. We didn't have that heartburn to go into a 5-year. If anything, if we were committed to that 5-year and had to stay there, we could. It was done when Silence moved over into the Long Common corridor. But flexibility was key. Instead of 6 cores, I got 2 cores before we switch off. It comes back, and the beta customers come back, and there was a need to start hiring.
How, and maybe one of the toughest things, I don't know if there's a great answer for it, but how have you forecasted headcount? Like going through it Silence and out of Obsidian, maybe what's something for the groups in the room, like there's one piece of advice you give on forecasting headcount. What do you think it is? I mean, it's.
I think I'll use to have that same kind of trajectory, but if we do it, something fantastic. But when we were at Silence, when we launched the product, we had our first product engineer of $4 million, and that wasn't built, that wasn't capped revenue. The next year we were forecasting 12, and we did 14. Then we did our Series C, and that was a $42 million round with DOJ, and we were forecasting a $28 million year. We thought maybe that's an anomaly. We happened to sign Amazon, we signed a few other key accounts. The second quarter was another follow-on 20 that year, and we ended up at 84 million in billings. We plan in prudence, we plan in conservancy, but you just watch it month to month. We're going to review with the team, sit down with everyone, just keep the communication going across the team. You know, are we a little hot right now? Are we a little light? Where do we need to be? You know, it's a constant discussion because headcount for us, I mean, real estate is actually, I'm not going to call it a rounding error. So that's actually not the biggest composition.
So I know you're not gonna pass out a PPM, but what were the businesses that you were in?
Silence was also cybersecurity, endpoint security.
Okay, good, thank you.
And then Brad Hendricks, CEO of Blind Squirrel Games. A lot of you probably know we have a large kind of video game development system here in Orange County, and Brad's been in the industry a long time and he's gone off, created his own entity, Blind Squirrel Games. And I met Brad, I don't know, 2012 or right around there, 2011. And we're on our third or fourth location now. An interesting ride with Brad, and their industry. What I think is unique about them is they're starting to do their own original content, but business for them is they're a developer. So Sony, and we don't have the engineers to do it. We need somebody like you, a development house, to do it for us, right? So the interesting challenge in his business is he needs to be able to scale up, hire all these different developers, bring them in-house to work on the project, develop it, and then ship the game back to the company that hired him to do it. And then once that contract's over, right, the way you stay profitable in his industry is you then need to be able to shrink back down, and how do you lean out and shed that head? So, you know, we've kind of gone through each time. One, economically, what's the best deal we can really drive, right? How the economics are always paramount, but then also how efficient could the space be? And we always kind of filled everything up to the gills, and then we had a solution to move to, which the last time we moved to an option that, again, like this, no, right off the 55 go. And I think one of the things today is how your space is changing, right? And maybe you could talk about some of the stuff you're doing that would be helpful for folks here, how you're outsourcing some of your engineering.
Yeah, so it's very true. In the games industry, you spin up to 157 people, to even 200 or 300 people. You know, especially California, as you all know, is extremely expensive to hire specific types of labor. Engineering is kind of what is really become a commodity that we have. But art is becoming more and more of an issue in the United States. In China and Indonesia and Malaysia, places like that, you can get labor a fraction of the cost. And so to be competitive in the marketplace, we made a choice, a conscious decision to only hire engineering, technical type people in the United States, and then spin up companies. And this is why your company is super valuable, is that we plan on spinning up companies in Malaysia, possibly Romania, cheaper than it is here in the United States.
So kind of maybe the next adventure we're going to be on is this lease is coming up in a little less than a year. Is we're going to likely shed space. We'll probably go to half the square footage, but it's going to be creating an environment where his kind of core talent invest in space, create an environment where you know you can attract, retain.
In Irvine, these are all multi-billion-dollar companies. I'm nowhere near there. I need to stop you. But you know, we're still competing for the same type of labor force. You know, you look at a typical gamer, and you know, the guy with the cannabis guy. You know, typical cannabis that are, you know, they're all millennials. And they have expectations when they come to the office. They want to be fed, they want to have coffee, they want to have snacks, they want to be in an environment that's cool, that has cool stuff around it. And, I'm 52, like, I don't give a shit about that stuff. They do, and it's a big draw, but also the location that we're at is super critical. So when we were looking at some of the new spaces, he's right, we're looking at getting smaller, but we're also looking at something that's a huge draw. Like, this is a great building, so the place on Bronco that you showed me, I mean, what a great draw. It's got all these great little coffee shops and all the stuff that we know there. The airline company spent a ton of money on doing similar things. So we're excited about the future, but it does mean that we need to scale in a different way. I work for this guy, and only this guy.
Any questions for the group?
Question back there.
Yeah, one thing I'll add to this, maybe you guys can touch on, just to kind of keep our advantage of having time on your side to make a real estate decision, being proactive versus reactive, and maybe how, you know, when you started that real estate process and how long it took. I think something that, you know, a lot of you should know, and as we go through this discussion, is these decisions don't happen overnight. And a lot of clients we work with and help, we are starting the process 9 to 18 months in advance. So any advantage or anything you can share to having time and maybe the process you went through?
Yeah, I think the Deer office was quick, but the second one was two years. I drugged this guy all over the place, or he drugged me all over the place. I could say no, because I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted to be able to have a draw, but I couldn't afford it. And so he talked valuable advice on, you know, where we could scale at a very low cost. And I think we're paying $1.79 a square foot, which is crazy like that, which is super low. It's full service growth. So I'm not paying electricity. If you've ever seen a gamer's desk, there's 6 monitors, 5 computers. I'm drawing like 20,000 amps per guy in my office. We had to install 4 transformers just to supply the power in our office.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Did for Obsidian for their kind of next expansion, we're not getting access to even start swinging hammers and
Case, I mean, it was a quarter.
yeah. And we had secured that by Q3 last year.
Yeah, it was, and it seemed insane at the time because we were coming off 25 people on the ground floor, in the second floor, and we're 30 already committing to a space that was going to take us to 125. And so it was that kind of forward looking, and that's where Maddie and I were talking earlier, is we were going for the 610. You know, so we did have the time to be flexible, but we also knew that we wanted to stay within Newport Center from a recruiting perspective and the value that brings to our employee base. So that really limited the pool that we could look at from a property perspective as well.
In our case, we're a true startup company. We're at 13 people right now. Probably be about double that in a year. But when we first started looking at for our space, it was because our existing office lease was coming up back in August, I believe. So we started 3 or 4 months before spaces, and the one thing we learned very early on, it was going to be really hard to find like the ideal kind of spot that we could walk into and just get going on. Every place we looked at would have required, a significant amount of, tenant improvements, or else, we just couldn't afford it. And at that time, we didn't have our Series B done either. So that added a lot of uncertainty to the equation. So, we're trying to be, very cautious in terms of what we're going to do. people in our group, even though to go and how to configure it and all the rest of it. So, you know, we had a lot of, it took us a lot longer than we thought, frankly, to try to find an optimal space. So we were fortunate we were able to negotiate a small extension on our current space, which got us through the end of May. We're able to use that time productively with, you know, Jeff and his team to kind of help us do a better job in finding some alternatives. We're very fortunate in getting our Series B closed, so that you know, made us commitments for us longer term. So anyway, that kind of helped. We had a kind of a trial run, and then this time I think we were able to get a little more proactive and you know, get a more thoughtful decision with a lot of help from you guys.
Any other questions before we move on? Yes, sir.
I've heard you're putting engineers, whether they're in Malaysia or Romania or place in their basement or garage in California case, or in your offices. To determines where they can be and still be properly managed for you, and the other part is in terms of startups needing to project, you know, project. Various rates of growth in the early years. I'd really for all three of you and putting Bob
In terms of how we, you know, look, you go to China and you work with an engineer in China, it's very different than working with an engineer in the United States and certainly India and various different places. The quality of engineering, even though a lot of the engineers in the United States are not Americans, it's really good. Decided that blowing people up was less interesting than making video games. So, you know, no problem with that because we work with the defense industry as well. So, you know, but engineering in the United States is really good. Outside of the United States, it's not. Art and specific types of in the United States now. If you have to hire an engineer and a level of art that he can do is equivalent to somebody in China or Malaysia, and we pay them literally $2,000 a month, and the quality level, then financially the decision is easy to make. That wasn't true 5 years ago. The technology, the computers, the systems, the middle class, the training over in China and these countries is starting to. They're getting trained adequately because doing game development from an art perspective is very technical. It's not like just on a computer. You have to know technically how things work, and so they're getting good at it. And so in the United States, it's a shift of a specific labor force. Who we work with, we test them. If it's a foreign-based company, we'll test them. But the so it comes down to testing, right? We'll test them, we'll check them and verify them. We'll man-month rates is the way we look at how we cost things out. Figuring out my 3 to 5 year plan, at understanding what we're doing internally for the IP that Taylor had mentioned, but forecasting whether Fortnite wants to bang down my door and hire 200 people. I mean, I got that call yesterday, right? And so, could we scale up? Maybe, but I'm fighting a war right now. like you said, with Blizzard and, you know, we're getting to a point where we have investment coming in where we can fight that war. Slow. Does that answer your question? Kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to move on, if you don't mind. I'm sorry to cut it off, but they'll be around to ask any other further questions. But our next is, how much does this stuff cost? So I'd like Ted and Anthony to come on up, and they are from an architectural firm that does a ton of business with early stage companies, and a furniture vendor. The cool stuff. So I appreciate you guys being here. And can you describe how do you manage, you know, a company that is one cool that doesn't have the capital to take the cool?
Sure, I'll start, and I think what we really try to do what they like and what they can afford, and you know, it's one of those things. Somebody once told me, you know, if I can only afford a hamburger, I want to get the best hamburger I possibly can. Don't show me steaks. And so what we engage and work closely with, you know, great broker like Cressa to make sure that we're looking at the right property to start. Sorry. We started someplace else. Jeff and I worked in and bring it up with space. And if we can get some space, especially early on, that helps a lot when we get to cost.
And I would say earlier, when it was mentioned, you know, space as a service, we're seeing our company have to mirror that model where a workplace as a service. So we're looking at, you know, creative ways to take that capital expense that's usually a larger fee when you go from 3,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 feet. How do you longer distance? So for us, we're having to look at it and completely meet the customer. Still provided world-class environments.
And so when an early stage company now has enough money, I call it big boy space, what should they plan on in terms of, from a design, how much would a space like this cost? Budgeting for furniture and for just the actual build out of the cost?
For furniture, it ranges probably from $18 a square foot all the way up to the broad range.
Shot dramatically, and in the wonderful state of California, here we also have some energy codes, which is awesome from an operational standpoint and a sustainability standpoint, that costs money. So really kind of bare bones space that we're seeing is really neat to think about 65 foot for something that's pretty basic. If you want to have something that has a little bit more character to it, I think, you know, we're probably, and Jeff may know the exact numbers, so maybe going out a little bit on an edge here. In today's market would be 85, 95. And I should quantify that a little bit. Size matters as far as scalability. So if you have scale economies, that really helps. So, you know, full floor tenant here amortize costs more. So if I showed you pictures of pool, you can get coolness in pieces of it. The rest of it, I would say, a little more.
Now, the last thing, and the last question is, you know, the trend has been to be really cool space, which open and collaborative. Have you seen that pendulum swing back to more sort of thoughtful spaces, or is it still things like that?
I think there's a combination, but there's definitely a greater awareness to acoustical privacy. So, and that's really at the heart of what the issue is I think when we swung that pendulum all the way open, in the open office, very few clients really wanted to spend the money for the proper acoustics. And a lot of people, they hire us and they want to be cool. It looks awesome, like this right here, and acoustics, there's going to be more echo and whatnot unless we do some acoustical treatment. And people go, yeah, okay, that's fine. And 6 months later, the acoustical treatment stuff you're talking about, I think we need to do something. Private spaces.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Right, understand the culture and how the company works and what kind of engineering is running their heads down, the visual privacy, acoustics, versus a marketing company who's very collaborative and creative. So it's really just understanding, what work they do and
anybody have any questions? Because we're at the point of the pumpkin hour, and we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to go back and visit their families before it's too late. Yes, sir.
Hopefully what came out of this, the diversity of this and the diversity of circumstances, and ultimately how has faced different points in their process, maybe things they could have contemplated on the front end because of the very nature of the business they're in. So, start to think about the design issue. That's just top of the space. So I look at this and you guys, I wasn't even thinking about it. So that's a thing I'm observing here. We just have to broaden the conversation to make sure that what you people, want to be there.
Yes, sir.
From management and startups, when you have a small group of people, and you're putting in 15 or 20 hours in the middle of negotiations, needlessly, what I heard was the flexibility is huge because these small companies just suck up tons of time trying to deal with getting out and in, looking at property and so on. It's huge. I've worked with.
Why should you? I don't want to be an expert in real estate. Let us, to the extent that there is an opportunity, let us help you manage this process. So, stop with the commercial, but I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come here and share some of the panel. Thank you for being there and for all the different folks that we had. That you came away that'll make you smarter when you are in that. Please grab something.